Jeg står ude foran Fanø Bryghus, og jeg skal ind og tale med Teddy, som er brygger herinde, og har godt styr på hele processen og alt, hvad der sker på Fanø Bryghus. Så ja, følg med ind her. Hey Teddy.
Hello.
Hey, thanks for meeting with me today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I know you're in the middle of a brew, so I'm glad you have the time to meet me.
Yeah, it's second half of Always Sunny on Fanø.
Yeah.
And Fanø's deciding to rain all day. So
yep, we walked here from the ferry, so we got pretty wet. So who are you and what's your role here on Fanø Bryghus?
So I'm Teddy. I'm one of 3 brewers here at Fanø.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm English, as you can tell.
Yeah.
I've been here for nearly 3 years now. My background is cask, so traditional handful English beers.
Cool.
And then I moved here when my girlfriend, who I met, who's from the island, we met in London, and yeah, we decided to move back when a vacancy came up here. So been here and enjoying it ever since.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
So you have been brewing cask before?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Does Fanø have any cask ales?
No, it's something that I would really love to do. I think it's something that's in the pipelines, maybe.
Yeah.
I think the hardest part would be getting the Danish beer drinkers into cask.
Yeah.
A little bit tricky, but we've got some ideas to do more kind of like modern style beers as a cask.
Yeah.
And then put it.
I know there are breweries in England that have success with that, but also it's an English tradition. So
yeah, exactly.
But cask ale, if they are made the right way and served the right way at the right time,
Yep.
It's a great beer.
Precisely. Like the thing with cask is it takes a lot more attention after you've got it into the barrel itself. As long as you keep it cool and you're keeping your lines all kind of sorted out, it can be really, really good.
Yeah.
And I think I'd love to introduce it or be one of the first breweries in Denmark doing it, basically.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot of fun.
That would be awesome.
So watch this space.
Yeah. Cool. So how would you describe Fanø Bryghus in your own words?
My own words. So we are obviously located on Fanø. We're quite a small brewery. We have we kind of specialize in dark beers. I'd say that's what we do. A lot of really good beers.
Yeah.
We've been doing a lot more barrel aging recently, and that's gone down really, really well. Beers like Red Wedding and Whiskey Rye are really good. We're 3 guys, all really into beer. And yeah, we're just trying to do the best beers we can, really. Only available in bottles at the moment, and kind of in Denmark, but we want to kind of expand it. It's a really good place to work. It's really good quality beer, in my opinion. It's also quite nice because we're quite blessed with Fanø being a destination, like a holiday island.
Yeah.
So in the summer, the tap room's always packed and stuff, and it's a really good atmosphere and things.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Seeing the beers kind of
We're
flying
sitting
up.
in the tap room now, and it's a great atmosphere in here, even though there are a few people.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just really cozy and
The idea is to kind of make a place where you kind of want to sit and have a few beers, basically, and just chill out, which is always good.
Yeah.
Play some board games and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good.
Cool. So what's your mission here? Do you have something that you aim for? Or?
Yeah, I think we're determined to make the best beer we can and try and make beer that we really enjoy as brewers to drink, and also obviously trying to kind of create beer that everyone will enjoy. I'd say we don't focus, but we're really kind of honing in the barrel aging and stuff. I think that's our main kind of thing that we're known for, as long as some of the more hoppy IPAs and stuff. But yeah, our kind of mission statement is just to do the best beer we can. We won Danish Brewery of the Year this year, which is really good. Yeah. We set that out to do that a few years ago, within 5 years, and we've already achieved it. So now we've just got to kind of do it again, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just want to make good beer, people enjoy to drink, and a good high quality, and also just to try different styles and also test ourselves as brewers as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, as a brewer and as a beer lover, I guess, is it fun for you to make the same beer, or do you want to experiment, or which way do you think is most fun for you?
I think you can find fun in both of them. I think one of the most enjoyable things about brewing the same beer over and over again is really kind of making sure that it's the best quality you can.
Yeah.
So paying attention to the small things. So everything from like pH levels to temperatures and things like that. Yeah. New beers are always really exciting, especially when you do them the first time. And then the hardest time is doing it again.
Yeah.
Basically. But yeah, we it's also just fun. I'm one of the people who just enjoy brewing.
Yeah.
So I could
the whole process.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's quite fun.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I think it's kind of meditating.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't do anything else, so you just calm down and just relieve your stress.
You kind of you get into the zone,
yeah,
and then you're just kind of like all these plates spinning, as I like to say, and you can just kind of really enjoy the process.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's also nice. It's kind of like cooking. If you enjoy the actual process, then you get a nice product at the end as well, which is always good.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. So you won Best Brewery.
Yep.
So yeah, that was really great, and that was actually one of my questions. Why do you think you did that? Because there are quite a few great breweries in Denmark now, so there's also a great competition, I think.
Yeah, so we really tried to focus on getting beer out into Denmark and getting it across Denmark. So like I said, we're located on the west coast, and we've kind of got our home base here, like I was saying, with the summer tourism and stuff. So we wanted to do more kind of like tap takeovers and meet the brewers and things like that. I think the main focus has been on just customer care. So we do beer tastings mainly here, but also around the place. And I think one of the things that people said when they were voting for us was that just the tap room itself and the staff are so knowledgeable and enjoyable. Yeah. And I think we came out with some really good beers this year as well, which kind of like hit all the nails on the head really in that sense. Yeah. So I just think our quality of beer over the whole thing was really good. I think we've got really good seasonals as well, which also really helps. And yeah, I just think that we have a real kind of emphasis on kind of customer care as well, and making sure that the drinkers enjoy their beer. We never put out a beer that we're not happy with. No. In that sense. So
cool. Yeah. So how do you develop new beer?
So we try to basically sit around and kind of brainstorm. So collabs are a really good way of kind of coming across new beers. So we can kind of get together with another brewery and do something that we both kind of had our kind of mindset on. So things like collabs we've done recently, we've done an export stout, which is just a kind of a stout, which is a 7.3 and just really nice to easy to drink. Yeah. Some more experimental things such as a forest fruit sour aged on cocoa nibs and vanilla. Yeah. We've done a peach milkshake IPA as well, which is going to be coming out soon as well. I think really when coming up with new ideas, we try new beers or we've got like ideas. So I think all of us have got like things that we want to try, or like we come up with an idea and then how can we make that a real thing, and also on a big kit. We've got a pilot kit as well. So that's just like it's like a grain father, you know, like the kind of all-in ones. Yeah.
So just a homebrew.
Exactly. It's basically just a homebrew setup. Yeah. And what we'll do is if there's something that we don't want to do on a big scale straight away, we'll try it on that. And then if it's good, then we'll upscale it basically. Yeah. And we'll try things like aging beers as well and different things in corny kegs and seeing how that goes.
That's actually cool you do that because, well, it takes basically the same time to brew on a small grain file than on your big system.
Pretty much.
So, and it's mostly the time that's expensive for you, I think. So I know there's not many breweries that do those really small batches.
Yeah. So we when we do it on the pilot kit, it's only like 2-3 kegs normally, and we have a series called Test Batch. So we're up to Test Batch 7 now, which is where we'll just do a beer, call it Test Batch, whatever, and then sell it only here at the tap room and see how it goes, really.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Does any of the beers you have now in your core line, were any of those in the test batch or the pilot batch?
Not in the core. No. So with the test batch, it would be more trying out a system. So things like when to add fruit, or how many oats can we add, like in the kind of grain bill and stuff, and get away without getting a stuck mash.
Yeah. Okay.
Things like that.
Yeah. So really pushing the boundaries of the brew systems. And
there was one test batch 6. was a raspberry sour, which came out really nicely. And that was something that we've done again on a bigger scale. But we didn't kind of label it and stuff. We just kept it as test batch 6.
Yeah.
Because that's what people knew it as.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Cool.
it was pretty good.
Yeah. So how did you get into barrel aging?
So we've always had a small barrel age program. So 2018, Red Wedding came out, which is one of the beers we're most famous for.
Yeah.
And that's been doing it every single year. The reason the barrel program expanded so much, it was kind of a blessing in disguise. So during the second lockdown, we wanted to keep making beer, but obviously we didn't know how long the lockdown was going to last. No. We didn't want to do a beer and then it's like been sitting there for 3-4 months. So we just bought barrel after barrel after barrel after barrel after barrel. So we're up to 85 barrels now.
Yeah.
And the idea was to do beer now and have it ready in the future. Yeah. So we're still producing beer, and for us, patience is key with the barrel aging. So we normally do anywhere between 6 to 13, 14 months in a barrel.
Okay.
So that kind of worked out quite well.
Yeah. And which kind of barrels is it?
So we've got a really good connection. So we're really local to Stouning whiskey. Yeah. So all our whiskey barrels are Stouning. Yeah. But at the moment, we have a barrel dealer. Shout out to John Paul. He is a small guy. He's got a warehouse in France. And currently at the moment, we have red wine. We have red port, white port. We have Pablo Jimenez sherry barrels. We've got Jamaican rum barrels. Got some cognac barrels. What else have we got? There's so many. And we've got a few that are kind of souring as well that we're trying to make small bruns and stuff.
So what kind of beer do you put on the different barrels?
Mainly dark beers, I think.
Stouts or?
Yeah, the vast majority are imperial stouts. Yeah. We've also done so things like all slightly different. So some of chocolate or some of coffee or more lactose in them and things for the mouthfeel and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, mainly all stouts. We have done. We've got a barley wine in port barrels at the moment.
In port barrels?
Yeah. So that should be pretty good.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I think that's the lightest we've got. And then, well, like I said, we're trying to do like an old brune style sour in one of the old whiskey barrels, basically, as well.
Yeah. Okay, cool. What does this barrel aging mean for the beer?
So barrel aging is so during the process of barrel aging, what's happening is the beer itself is kind of absorbing in and out of the wood. And what that's doing is it'll be picking up characteristics of the spirit itself, as well as some of the kind of things like the oak kind of character and things as well. Yeah. So what you're doing is you're kind of maturing the beer in a state which will allow it to kind of absorb more of the spirit flavors. So things like you might get some of the kind of acidity from red wine, or you might get the kind of the warmth of the alcohol from the rum, for example. Yeah. And it just adds an extra layer of complexity to the beer itself. Yeah. It kind of makes it more of a slow drinker rather than a kind of down it when you're in a
it's not a session beer.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and it really just adds like an extra layer of the complexity. And like I said before, like patience is key. So the longer you leave it in there, the more it kind of has time. And as the weather changes as well, as it warms up, the beer will kind of expand into the wood, and then as it cools down, it'll kind of contract again.
Okay. So, But you can leave it in there too long, can't you?
Probably, yeah. I think there's some breweries will leave them in there for years. I think, depending on what it also kind of depends on what you're looking for, because some alcohol, such as like rum, for example, can be quite forward. And you don't want it to be overtaking the beer. You want it to kind of go hand in hand with the beer, basically. Yeah. You want it to kind of merge,
support
really
the beer, not overtake the beer. Yeah.
Precisely, yeah.
So how do you control that? Do you taste them every month, or?
Not every month. So we'll normally leave it in. I think the first testing is normally about 3 to 6 months in. Yeah. Some beer that we've done multiple times, we know like we're going to leave it for 12 months and it should be fine. The first time we do a beer in a barrel age, we'll test it and then see what it's kind of going. And also, each barrel is different. So it's not just one beer from one barrel. It'll be 6 to 8 barrels basically. Mm. So especially with whiskey barrels, you might find that you'd be like, okay, this one is really, really smoky. Yeah. Or this one's quite peaty. Okay. And then what you have to do is you pair the barrels with other barrels and then blend them together.
Yeah,
and then you
just like a whiskey blender would do.
Exactly.
Actually.
Yeah. But yes, we've left some in barrels for a long time just to see what happens.
Yeah.
And if we're just not happy with it as it is, then we'll just keep it in there, really.
Okay.
So yeah.
And just to see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. We'll keep it as long as we can, and just hopefully we don't have to dump it.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't had any barrels we've had to dump.
No.
Like I said, the only one that's been in there for a long period of time is the souring one, just because it still isn't quite there yet.
No.
The nose is amazing, but we feel that it can go a little bit further with the
acidity. Or,
and we take notes on each barrel, and then we'll go back to the notes and kind of see, like, okay, so we're getting like vanillin and these kind of flavors from it, and then the next time you can go, okay, well, that's kind of smoothed out a little bit now, and now we're getting more of this and stuff. So yeah,
cool. So which beer can be barrel aged, and which beer would you never do a barrel aged beer of?
So normally the rule is the stronger the beer, a strong beer is good to put into barrels. Normally,
is that from the alcohol? Because alcohol can what's called absorb or the aromas and some bitter or what is that?
A little bit, and also the stronger the beer, the less likely it is to get infected as well.
Yeah.
Because it's sitting in a. You don't sterilize the barrel first.
No.
Normally the alcohol in there will kind of keep it sterile in that sense. But also, like, certain beers just don't pair well with spirits as well. So, for example, you wouldn't put like a lager in a barrel.
No.
You wouldn't put. You can put whatever you want in a barrel. I'm not going to stop you. From my experience, imperial stouts work really, really well in barrels, and also just kind of stronger, darker beers.
Yeah.
We've bounced around the idea of doing something like an imperial wheat beer in a gin barrel. Yeah. I think that's the only thing that we've kind of thought of.
That's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, just because it's never been done. So it might be really good, it might just not work at all, really.
Yeah.
I also think that the darker beers, because they're more roasted and more kind of chocolate elements to it, the spirits kind of work with them a lot easier.
Yeah, and the tannins build up the body as well. And
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So, which one is your favorite beer of these?
With the barrel aging?
Yeah.
So I would, one of the more recent ones we've done is White Wedding. So Red Wedding is one that we've done for a few years now, and it's a very reliable imperial stout aged in red wine barrels. But we decided to do the exact same beer, but we aged it in white port barrels.
Yeah.
And it's silky smooth.
Yeah.
It's such a good drink and such an easy drink, and it's also really good because when you do like a side by side with the Red Wedding, they're just two completely different beers in that sense.
Yeah.
Other imperials or other barrel-aged ones I like, the barrel-aged Imperial Yule Porter is a really good one. So that's, again, a seasonal.
Yeah.
And that is a kind of cinnamon coffee style aged in whiskey barrels.
Yeah.
And that comes out really nice.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Who inspires you? Which other breweries? Now, you told me that you do a lot of collabs and stuff like that. But are there any breweries around, both in Denmark and around the world, that inspires you to achieve
inspires
something?
Is the word. I have a lot of respect for any brewery that is trying not to kind of follow the trends, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, kind of New England's and hoppy beers burst onto the scene, and they're a really reliable beer, and they're a good beer to drink. But there's some breweries out there that are just trying weird and wacky stuff that always kind of goes out quite well. Breweries that inspire me, that's a good question. Breweries I have a lot of respect for. There's Brew by Numbers in London. I worked, where I worked before was just down the road from them, so I got to know them quite a lot. I think they have a really good approach. They do everything from sours to pale ales and things like that.
Yeah.
Other weird kind of breweries. I like what Mad Scientists are doing. I think they've got some really interesting barrel aging stuff, and again, weird sours and things. I think you can take it a little bit too far and rely on the weird and wackiness.
Yeah.
But I think if you can find that middle ground, Danish breweries, Tool, I think. Yeah. I've got a lot of respect for them. I think they're really nice. I think they've also got a good approach.
Yeah, I like the whole concept with their new Tool CD.
Yeah, exactly. And their new natural line, their sours,
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
They're really good. I had one for the first time and I really enjoyed it. And also where they've got Bruce as well, they're kind of like little sister mini brewery.
Yeah.
For me, that'd be like a great place to work. You just got a tiny brewery and you can do whatever you want in that sense. And they come up with a good range of beers, I think. But then you also got, you know, people like Gamma who have just really honed in their New Englands and their IPAs and stuff. And
but they really concentrate on that.
Yeah, exactly.
They're great at it.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's nice now they've got their new place that they are trying other styles as well, which is good to see.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. I got a lot of time for breweries that are okay. Well, we know we do this well.
Yeah.
Let's try something else now. Like you can focus on your main skill and then also kind of branch out into other things.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's important to have some sort of core lineup, and then
I always say you've got the beers that pay the bills.
Yeah.
And then you've got the beers that you want to do basically as well in that sense.
Yeah.
So
cool. So NEPAs, sours, and also barrel-aged beers are hyped right now.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is the next hyped beer?
Oh, such a good question. So I think it's going to take a lot for New England's to be knocked off the perch.
Yeah.
I think because they're such a good beer that both beer enthusiasts can drink as well as people that aren't too into their beers. It's such an enjoyable beer. Beers, I think sours are going to come forward a lot more.
But the true sours, because in my mind we have the fruit sours where you just put a lot of raspberry in, and then it's a sour.
Yeah, I'd like.
And then you have the
traditional sours. I'd like to see them kind of come forward. It's such a hard thing to say what the next trend is really. I think we might go full circle and see kind of like pale ales and the kind of more simpler beers kind of come back to fashion a little bit.
Yeah. This IPL I think is a lovely beer.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I would drink this probably. I would like this more than a NEPA. I'm getting there where I'm. Yeah,
you've had them.
NEPAs, I've had them now.
You've drunk enough of them.
Yeah,
and I think, and that's the thing. So that's why I think where sours are a little bit more newer, I think they're going to be the next thing that kind of takes off. Like you're saying, I'd love to see more natural, like kind of traditional sours kind of coming forward. But I think things like fruited sours, like some of the stuff that Oban are doing, I think they're a really good example of fruited sours.
Yeah.
And for me, I think the one beer that's going to be the next one to take off is a beer that both beer nerds love and also just regular drinkers enjoy as well in that sense.
Yeah.
But it's no one knows. Everyone's saying, you know, New England's had its time in the sun, but I can't see it kind of leaving. But that's why I think pale ales and IPAs, like traditional, more bitter beers, would be a good one to kind of make a comeback in that sense.
Yeah. Is Fanø thinking about doing any alcohol-free beer?
We've played around with the idea of it. So our system that we have and our current kind of equipment, we can't really do one very well. We can't pasteurize it and things like that. We've had a few ideas. We've talked to a guy who does like a condensed syrup, basically. You can then kind of put into it, and then that's your kind of sugar content. And then as you add it to the water, it kind of thins it out in that sense. We would love to do it, but again, like we only want to produce beers that we know are going to be good.
Yeah.
In that way.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely something we've always got our eyes on, but it's getting the equipment more than anything else, and being able to do it well in that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something that we know that it's going to need to kind of take off soon because more and more people. You come to a brewery and you might want to enjoy a beer, but the only thing we can offer you that's non-alcoholic is a soda. So a little bit annoying.
Yeah, exactly.
But it could be nice to do one. Yeah.
Okay. Last question. What's next for you?
Me personally or the brewery?
Both.
So I think I'm really blessed here. I can see myself working for Fanø for ages. I can't see myself moving on. It's such a good atmosphere to work in, and I feel like we're on the kind of like riding a wave at the moment.
Yeah.
The brewery itself, like I said, where we won Brewery of the Year, our next achievement is to improve on that and try and win it again next year.
Yeah.
Like I said, so we're going to start trying to do more collabs and do more inventive beers. We've always got our eye on trying to get a canning line, but obviously space is an issue with that.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to try and just be more active around Denmark, be more active on like the East Coast as well. Yeah. Try and make connections there to do more tap takeovers and things like that. Because we're available across the whole of Denmark, but we have a distributor that kind of sorts that all out.
Yeah.
But we're going to continue to do our barrel aging program. We're going to expand the barrel aging program. We're going to try and do more kind of interesting and different beers, as well as trying to introduce. We always try and introduce new beer, like at least 5 new beers a year that we do ourselves as well, and then come back to them and things like that. Yeah. But at the moment, it's just about kind of keeping up the success and to continue to brew good beer, and also just to try and do new different things and kind of just keep active in the Danish beer market, really, in that sense.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for your time.
All right. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.